Hey guys, this is my sister Brittany.
And this is my sister Tara.
And welcome back to My Sister's Nightmare,
a horror review channel for horror fans.
by horror fans. If you wanted a really special present, what would it be?
A Baskin bear.
A Baskin bear? Where would I get a Baskin bear?
The toy store.
The toy store, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on in there?
Alright, horror fans, welcome back to another movie review. In our next installment in Invasion Month, we have
The Collector, released in 2009.
The Collector. This was a first time watch for me. I know you said you've seen it once before?
I have seen it in the past, but it was something I had a hard time focusing on, and I don't know if I ever really finished it. So it wasn't anything I'd retained, really. It was like a brand new watch for me, too.
Gotcha.
So for the cast,
We have Josh Stewart, who plays Arkin, Carly Collins, who plays Hannah, and Juan Fernandez de la Brune as the Collector.
directed by Marcus Dunstan, who went on to do the sequel, The Collection, in 2012, and then also done a movie called Feast in 2005. Never heard of it.
You know, I believe I actually have the movie Feast, but I've never watched it.
Oh, really?
Like so many films I have in my collection.
I never even heard of it. This movie made $10.2 million in box office.
Not the strongest. Do you know what the budget was for the movie?
I don't know what the budget is. I feel like probably not huge, but
I would have guessed not huge.
yeah.
So the premise of this movie, guys, is a guy desperate for money for his family decides to break into a house that he's working on during the day, steal something, pay off some loan sharks his family owns. So by the time Arkin gets there to do what he needs to do to get the money for his family, another invader is there. This invader is the Collector, and he has the family already held hostage and the house booby-trapped. And when we say booby-trapped, like practically every inch of the house.
Yeah, think Saw.
Very Saw-related vibes.
Especially Saw 2.
So every inch of the house is set up with booby traps, and like you said, think Saw vibes.
Saw 2 vibes in specific. If you guys have seen Saw 2, it really kind of... But like, literally every step of the way is a booby trap. You can barely move throughout this house.
Which, if I'm leaning in towards a negative side, I've got to say, and this is a personal thing, this definitely falls into the torture porn category of horror. And for me, it's just not my flavor, personally.
As I'm getting older, I just don't have the stomach for it.
I don't have the stomach for it. I have to turn my head a lot. Like, I don't know. It's different from when I was a kid, for sure, because when I was younger, I loved the Saw movies.
Hostel, I would watch those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the torture thing either. Like you said, I have to turn my head a lot too, especially when it comes to like fingernails and just like this movie has a lot of head turning moments.
A lot of cringy, like, ugh, moments.
Made my stomach hurt.
I thought the acting by our lead actor, Josh Stewart, was actually good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like Sean Penn right here.
Right in the face and eyes, like a young Sean Penn, he does. This movie, in my opinion, and we just looked it up. It was made for 3 million. So actually, in '09, not the tiniest budget. And I feel like it wasn't shot very well.
Mm.
There's a lot of like dark blue tones in the movie. And then even in the beginning, after the very opening, remember where it's just showing an outdoor scene and it's almost like metallic-y, iridescent-y. I don't know. I thought it just kind of cheapened it a little bit for me personally.
Yeah, I think that was something you saw a lot in movies before 2010. Do you know what I mean? And I never really was a fan of that. So I agree. Um,
I did think, on a positive note, I thought the opening of the movie was pretty strong.
I did too.
You know, middle-aged couples coming home from a night out. They go inside, wife goes upstairs, husband stays downstairs. All of a sudden, wife's calling for the husband. He goes bolting up the stairs, and she wonders, Larry, why is this box in our room?
And there's like a huge chest
Like
standing
steamer trunk.
upright. Yeah. Like, who put this here? Why is this here? How'd this get here? And you can see that, like, the house had been getting some work done on it, which I think is key
Right.
to the movie. And yeah, he opens the box and it kind of cuts out and you hear him scream and it cuts to our main actor, Arkin.
What'd you think of, like, the second and third act? Like, once we're in the house and we're trapped and we know what's going on, like...
The third act for me, I mean, the second act is all about just trying to get who he can out of the house, get himself out of the house. He gets out of the house, ends up back in the house to get, it's just a lot of back and forth, trying to navigate these booby traps. And the third act, I felt like I was holding my breath a lot. Do you get what I mean?
I do.
He would, because there's a little girl in this movie, and he's trying to get, in the third act, he's really trying to get him and her out of the house.
That's
And
why
it's
he
so
goes
much
back
like-
in the house.
Yeah, it's so much back and forth. They start to get away, they get caught again, they start to get away, the collector's about to get them again. It's just so...
Cat and mouse.
Yeah, and the collector also has a dog that he sends at them at one point.
Speaking of dog, there...
The cat scene.
Not just the cat scene. Well, I mean, I was going to mention the cat scene, but I just feel like this movie is I know this might sound bizarre for a horror movie, but it's kind of mean-spirited, I feel. And especially because of the cat scene. There's this awful scene, guys, where there's, like, bubbling acid or some sort of similar type substance all over the floor. And the poor black cat is, like, stuck in it and, like, crying and, like... Does Arkin, like, try to get her up?
Yeah,
and,
Arkin's,
throw
like,
her
on
up?
the bed, and he, like, gets her up. There's an open window, and the open window is, like, what's supposed to taunt people to go running through that acid. And he goes to, like, he rips the cat up. A good amount of her stays behind in the acid, like, fur. Goes to throw her out the window, and the window shuts and, like, cuts the cat in half. And just,
Because
like...
the window's booby-trapped.
Obviously, guys, this is, the 2000s. There wasn't actual animals being harmed on set, but I still don't like seeing it in movies.
I don't like seeing it either. I just feel like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm a true horror fan. I love horror. Been watching it since we were both kids. But there's just, like, lines in the sand. Like, even with horror. Like, typically killing animals is just not okay, and this was totally not okay. There are some exceptions. Cujo. We'll get there when we get there, but she had to do what she had to do in the end. Different scenario, though. But when you're just killing an animal to
add to the
kill it,
storyline,
it's just rotten. And we literally just watched this, so it's still kind of fresh.
I didn't watch a lot of that cat scene. I did a lot of this.
Even now, I'm just like, whoa! Thinking
And then,
about
like,
it.
the dog, which I guess with the dog, he had to do what he had to do because we already saw the dog maul one person.
Right.
So he had to do what he had to do, but he like threw a bunch of toilet paper into a trash can and lit it on fire. And when the dog came running into the room, he like stuck it on the dog's head and then threw the dog with the lit trash can on his head at the collector. Again, he had to do what he had to do. I just hate.
See, now, if you were going to have an animal death scene in your movie, like, if you have to, why not just have that one? Like, why'd we have to throw in the cat one, too? You know what I mean? Like,
Agreed.
that's where it crosses the line from, being a horror movie to just,
And it just
mean.
shows so much of the cat suffering and struggling in that acid, and that got me, too. I didn't like it. It made my belly hurt. My belly hurts just talking about it now, actually. Yeah.
It does.
Not good. Didn't like that. Moving on past the cat. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. It's too much. We do technically have a survivor girl in this movie.
We do.
We have a final girl in this movie. It's the little girl. She makes it out. So we know that she's gone, and pretty much the only survivor from this is the little girl, because Arkin ends up getting caught in the end and thrown in a steamer trunk, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie. I do give the movie some credit for the storyline. I mean, even though it's not the most original movie as far as, like, trap kills and stuff like that, the storyline's interesting, about a guy that works on houses and, is desperate for money, has got loan sharks on him,
And spoiler, guys, if you haven't seen this movie and you do want to see this movie, stop the video now. So the collector, who we never see his face, so we have no clue he is, Arkin sees his face. And in the end, he's telling paramedics before he gets caught again. I'm not even going to get into that. You want to see that, watch it. He's telling paramedics and police that he saw the collector's face and it was Terminator, the pest exterminator that was working on the house, because the house was being worked on. And if you remember, in the first scene of the movie with the first couple, their house had been getting worked on too, and they probably had an exterminator as well. So you get the gist that this collector...
But one thing we don't ever figure, and maybe you're not supposed to, maybe that's part of this film, but we don't know why the collector's doing what he's doing.
Now, I think that, and I'm not sure because I haven't seen it. Well, I've seen glimpses of it. I think that might get answered in the sequel. The Collection.
The Collection. Which came out 3 years later, as we said in the beginning.
We'll probably cover it eventually, and we'll come back to it, but...
I mean, final thoughts on this movie. I wouldn't say I outright, hated it. It was a drag. It was okay to watch, I mean, it definitely had an okay pace, got going good, just under an hour and a half.
Kind of had you on the edge of your seat.
Had you on the edge, but as I previously mentioned, cringy trap kill scenes that are just so hard to watch. The mean animal scene, just the mean-spiritedness of it. What I'm calling, poor... I just don't think it was shot very well, in my opinion. Maybe I don't know. That's just me.
I just feel like it was the time for when the movie was shot.
It could have been.
There was other movies shot the same way. Butterfly Effect comes to mind.
Decent acting, though, by our main character, I would say, Josh Stewart.
I really liked him, actually.
An okay storyline, good pacing.
I felt like the storyline was original in the sense of I can't think of another movie I've seen where a robber breaks into a house to rob it and there's somebody there torturing and killing the family already, and now he's got to try to get out too.
Right.
I've never heard of that. I thought that was pretty original. You want to get into ratings?
We can't get into ratings. So, to my surprise, IMDb gave it a 6.3, which, I mean, I guess out of 10 isn't the highest rating, but I feel like out of the movies we reviewed on this channel so far, that's on the higher end.
I feel like we've reviewed better videos that had a lower.
For sure. And then Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 28%, which I actually feel like is a pretty fair.
What would you rate it?
Oh. Doing our 0 to 5 star rating, I would give it. I was just thinking a 1.5, but then instantly I felt like that didn't seem fair. So I'll give it a solid 2 stars. For the reasons I've mentioned, our lead actor, originality in the storyline.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a just down the middle, a 2.5 out of 5. The acting I thought was good, especially our lead actor. I really enjoyed him. I felt the storyline was original. I felt like there were a lot of good things about it. My negatives for it are, again, personally, like she said, not a fan of torture horror. It just makes my skin crawl. I don't enjoy watching it. I have a hard time looking at the TV while it's happening. I do a lot of this. In the animal, in the cat scene, that really dropped it down for me. I did not appreciate that.
It was way too long, too.
It was too long.
The cat scene in particular, it was just dragged.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So yeah, that's The Collector.
As far as, like, watching this movie goes, I would stream it. I don't know if I would, like, run right out and buy a copy if I was you.
It is literally free on, like, everything right now,
It
too.
is, currently.
Tubi, Pluto, I believe it was on there. Like, those are 2 free apps. It's free on there if you guys want to watch it.
And like I said, to stream it for free, sure. It's not a bad little horror movie. Definitely seen a lot worse.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely not going to tell you guys to not watch it, because if you have a stomach for torture horror, then this is your thing. If you're a fan of Saw, check it out.
Absolutely. I was just going to say pretty much the same thing. Like, if torture porn is, like, your main horror niche, yeah, this probably would be for you. Like,
yeah. Alright, guys, so this is coming out on Friday, and that's the day after Thanksgiving.
Turkey Day!
So why don't you guys leave a comment down below and let us know how your Thanksgiving went, and let us know what your favorite dishes are on Thanksgiving.
What's your favorite dish, Lex?
So, Thanksgiving's my favorite fucking holiday, and it's because I'm fat and enjoy all the food.
Word, girl! Ah.
That was so foul.
That could be the blooper at the end.
I'm leaving it all in.
Oh, yeah!
So, my favorite Thanksgiving side dish is the stuffing, specifically Mom's stuffing. Shout out to you, Mom. Hey!
Our mom makes the best sausage stuffing a woman could ask for.
I would literally knock a baby out for that stuffing.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been same
What's
as
yours?
Brittany.
What's your favorite dish?
I show up to Thanksgiving for the stuffing
Yes.
and the cranberry sauce.
Yes. Well, you also love green bean casserole.
I love green bean casserole. And basically the way I do it is your classic recipe on the French's can for onions. However, you add in some cabbage, seriously sharp cheese, and some crumbled cooked bacon. Generous handfuls of each. Mix it in, bake it like you would.
Oh my god.
Ow, ow.
Your shoulders are gonna hurt all day, Big Tex. Alright guys, so yeah, let us know your favorite Thanksgiving dishes. Let us know how your Thanksgiving went. We look forward to hearing from you.
And if you liked this video, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment down below telling us how fabulous we are, share with your friends.
And until next time,
sweet dreams. Sydney! Ah, 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 ah. Bitch! Ah, no! Ah!
Now I get all the stuffing!
Rachel?